Oh, there.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. I've never done a Google Hangout.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I've never done it either, but you can do I was playing around with it. You can do all kinds of like fun filters and this is
really?
cool.
Yeah, it's a neat thing.
And it's being recorded to YouTube. So then I can take this. And so do I have your permission to use this for this presentation coming up?
Oh, you sure do. Let me work. I'm going to get a better lighting setup.
Okay.
So the video's a little bit better. So let me work on this for a minute.
You can, there's also settings, like I made myself soft and you can make your background out of focus and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the setting.
I'm going to just get something a little bit better than what I've had. So hang on.
Okay.
Get this a little nicer background. I'm not going to show the video. Okay.
You can put that out of focus by if you put your hover over the left column of this screen, the Google Hangout screen, and then there's like this magic wand thingy.
Oh, let's see. I don't see it, but that's okay with me.
You don't have that?
No, I'm on the iPad.
Oh, I don't know how that works. Yeah, I'm on a regular computer.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah.
It looks nice.
Yeah, just work on the lighting just a little bit here. More.
Okay.
Yeah, will that work?
Yeah, I think it's fine. It sounds good too.
Oh, okay, good.
This is just an iPad, like.
Yeah. Oh, are you using an iPad?
I'm using a laptop, and I've got Bose speakers plugged into it for video editing, and you sound great.
Oh, super! That sounds good. I'm gonna do one more thing, one more light. Hang on.
Okay. Totally falls apart. Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That was pretty hilarious. Everything like shook.
Yeah. You know what? I just got my iPad and it's fine. It's like, wow. I've never dropped it before. Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sorry I'm taking so long. I was just jumping off the deadline. And,
no worries. No worries.
Yeah.
And Jeff is after you, and he's really flexible. Like he knows. Okay. I'm also like I've never done this either, and so I'm just trying to figure out like it's gonna be recorded onto YouTube.
Okay.
And then from there, I'll download it from YouTube somehow. I've done that before. I forgot, but I'll figure it out. And then
it's easy to put something on YouTube. Yeah.
No, I mean this is going to be on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This Hangout thing.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just gotta say that this project has become something way bigger than I ever thought. You know, it's almost started on a whim, and it's been really cool. It's kind of become part of my life in a lot of ways, and it's just a lot that you initiated, and it's exciting. So I'm excited to do this interview.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, do you want to expand on that, or do you want me to ask you some questions? To expand on what you just said.
Okay, yeah, I sure will. Okay, yeah. So I'll do like a couple like editable clips, you know, so it'll be things that are like, you know, short ideas that you can kind of talk together. Does that sound good?
Yeah, so that's great.
Going on, you know?
Yes, either is fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I found out about the Salon Garage project through Meetup. It was one morning, it was Monday, and I was like super bored with my work, and I wanted to do something meaningful and creative, not just creative. And so there were a lot of different photography meetups, and I found this one. the Slum Garage band. And it was about making social change through your media, through your art. And I just love that idea. So, yeah. So after I signed up and I went to the first meeting, it was just so cool. It just felt like all my brother and sisters art people. You know, we were all just hanging out at this really nice place and stuff. Stephanie's Loft, and it was really cool. It felt very comfortable, and also just the whole mission was just eye-opening to me. Something I never would have thought of on my own. It's really cool how the community of artists kind of got together and said just a bunch of what ifs and a bunch of yes ands, and it just came together and it turned into this beautiful thing.
What was in the beginning? What was your understanding of the mission, and has it changed at all, or has it stuck to the mission? Or, I mean, just be honest. Like,
Yeah.
what was your interpretation of the mission right from the start?
Yeah, well, I kind of came with some preconceptions, but not many. And when I got there, I was just really impressed with this mission of raising awareness. And I think what really formed quickly in my mind was the importance of just awareness. I mean, it's the door to any solution. You know, first you got to figure out what the problem is and raise awareness. And that was just huge. You know, and the whole thing with aging out of foster care, just becoming aware of it. And as artists, we felt like we could do that. We could make the unseen seen, or the seen seen.
Mm,
So that was pretty exciting.
that's cool.
Hmm.
So I am gonna try and see how do I guess if I pull up the questions, then I lose you, but that's okay. I don't see you, but yeah. Let's do it right here.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, you kind of already answered it, but like, you know, it sounds like you were looking around on Meetup, and you were there was a lot of different groups, and this attracted you because you could actually use apply your Meetups, your skill. Good question. And so, Salam Garage has done a lot of different projects locally and internationally. And was there anything about the foster care situation that attracted you, that specifically, that topic?
Yeah, doing something meaningful with my art and photography. That was the initial attraction, but very quickly, once I learned about the foster care situation, that became a very important thing. It wasn't really an initial attraction. I mean,
Had you, oh,
go ahead.
had you known much about kids who age out of foster care before starting on this project?
I didn't know anything about aging out of foster care until I started this project. And after that first meeting, I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, I was totally unaware of it. And I want to know more. And it made me want to tell other people know about
Mm-hmm. Sorry for the pauses. I'm flipping back. Yeah. What were some of your hopes in participating?
it. Yeah, so one of my hopes was to do something creative in community. I think a lot of artists sometimes get isolated. You know, we're kind of like cats who huddle around, you know, and it's nice to do something in a community. And then on top of it, doing something meaningful, something significant for the broader community, for the city. And that's just exhilarating, and it's really been wonderful.
So why not just do, an aging out? Like, why not just do this project on your own? Like, why not just go out and take pictures and meet some homeless kids that you found out have, like, why bother with the team and the politics and the dynamics and the complications of a team?
Yeah, you know, it is inefficient to get a bunch of people together to try to get something done, especially, sort of the artist personality, which is, going off in so many different directions. But there's no way this project could exist without the group because, we're eyes for each other. We see different things, and boy, my eyes were opened about the sensitivity we need to approach this topic with. I was just willing to get in there and do it, and I realized, no, this is something we need to do very intentionally, very carefully, and sensitively, with great sensitivity. And so there's no way I would have seen those things without the group, without, other people in the group saying, this is how we need to look at it. We could just be eyes for each other, and that made it so much bigger and better.
That's awesome. Do you mind if I name this the title Eyes for Each Other for my presentation? Because I hadn't submitted a title yet. Come
Yeah.
on, borrow that. That's good.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I truly believe that. I think that's the power of community. Is that we need each other's perspectives, we need each other's skills.
That's cool. That's a great. Thank you. And what do you think it would have looked like if you did decide to embark on this on your own? What do you think you're like? Do you think it would have you done that in the past? How might this have been different? What would have looked like if you just did this by yourself?
Yeah. Well, in a way, there's part of it that I am doing by myself. It's not like the interviews I'm doing are with the group, or there is sort of that individual one-on-one aspect of this project. Well, first of all, I don't think I would have been able to do this project without the group. Just it takes so much, I think, collective wisdom to pull something like this off, because it's very hard to reach this population. But I can speak to the part of this project that is individual for me. I've formed some friendships, and in particular, I've gotten to. In particular, my dog here too.
That's my office manager.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same dog. I have the same exact dog.
No way.
Is that at least? What is that?
He's a cockapoo.
Oh, it looks like that, but it's not the same dog. Wow. Yeah. It's another one of those small little kind of dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So there's with this project, there's the group aspect where we get together and we have meetings and we come up with ideas that I never would have come up with on my own. So by that, I never would have been able to do this project without the group. But then I'd go off with like Sam and we'd hang out together. And a friendship started. In fact, we're going out to lunch this coming Monday, and we hung out together in the past, and there's a friendship formed. And so there is the part of the project that is sort of on my own, and it's just wonderful. But it couldn't have happened without the group, and I never could have started this project.
Oh, cool. I'm glad that you guys are staying in touch.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the pluses and minuses of working together in community versus on your own doing a project like this?
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of pluses.
I think a person that grows up in a functioning environment learns how to trust over a lifetime. And in this demographic, trust isn't something you can take for granted. And it has to be won, to remain trustworthy, it takes a while. And then also, I do agree with you about the amateur nature of our group. It's one of the wonderful things about it, and that you can watch these people discover. On the other hand, it was kind of like it doesn't have to take this long. Pick something to move on.
I know.
And it works.
It works, and it definitely has taken longer, but I feel like the foundation, it can't get rocked, because we did build such a strong foundation over time that, we have our projects and everyone is really clear on what it is that we're doing, what we've got, what we'd like to accomplish next in the next phase. And so yeah, it's group dynamics. What would you say to others what would you say to others about working in a community media project or versus working independently? It's an audience of photographers that probably have done a lot of projects on their own, the Lone Ranger kind of thing. I used to do the same thing. And what would you say to them, about the differences?
Yeah, I think what I'd say to a photographer that's used to working on their own is try it. I've done freelance work for over 20 years, and I work in the studio, essentially by myself. I have assistants in the office, people I work with. When I'm actually creating, the decisions are on my own, and it's just something I've gotten used to. But I would encourage anybody that's in that's had a similar experience to try the group creative projects. It's really exciting to let go of control and see what comes out.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah. couple more questions, and I'm also, if there's anything I haven't asked you, after these next few questions, please like ask yourself and answer. But where would you like to see this project go? Like with yourself and the project, and the work itself, and then your own involvement or whatever else.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned in this project is that it'll go places that you don't expect, and I think I want to remain open to the possibilities. And I'm excited for what's going to happen because it won't be what I'm planning or hoping for. But I think some potential is. I think it's just our initial goal is to raise awareness and all the good that will bring for the participants and the people that are watching it, that see it. I just think it's contagious. And so I think, sort of in a broad sense, what my goal is that it catches, that more people get involved and just want to do it.
More people want to get involved and produce more stories and things like that, or
yeah. On both ends, that more folks that have aged out of foster care step up and want to tell their story. That more artists, photographers, writers want to get involved. But it just that it grows. It's a good thing for everybody. So that's sort of my hope. Where it goes, what venues, stuff like that. I don't know. I have no idea, but I just hope it gets bigger.
So that we're about to launch a Kickstarter, and you probably don't, because we're in the background. We're trying to organize. We are organizing myself, Steph, the other co-producer, and Jeff, who's doing some PMing, project management. So we're building. We haven't introduced it to the group yet because the full group, because we're trying to save you all from all of these back and forth emails until we have a solid plan. Unfortunately, there was a death in my family, and we were going to start a lot of this stuff last week or so, but now we're facing the holidays, so we're probably going to produce the Kickstarter before like Christmas, or maybe a little bit after Christmas, and launch it or propose it to Kickstarter, and then hopefully launch it, maybe a few months into the next year, because people are pretty exhausted financially after the holidays in January. So, and as you know, like the main goal of the Kickstarter is for us to raise money so that we can actually produce a photo exhibition that will start in Seattle and hopefully travel. And that's going to cost money. And so we're going to do a Kickstarter and try and raise those funds. So knowing that, and I think you knew that was the plan, from the start, like that was going to happen. What would you tell the people, like in the Kickstarter, that, or even this audience right now who hear, oh, here comes a pitch. We're not pitching the audience. But like why invest in a photo exhibition about kids who age out of foster care? Like, why bother?
Yeah, well, there's so many ways a person can benefit by being involved. And if they're contributing with just Kickstarter money, that can be huge. They can know that they're participating in something that really matters, that's making a difference. And by giving money, you also, there's just something that's, I don't think can make you happy. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Let me try answering the question in a different way.
Or maybe the real question is like, who cares about kids who age out of foster care? We hear about all these different stories all over the place. Like, who cares? Why do we have to have an exhibition about this?
Yeah. Okay. So let me re-answer the question.
Okay.
I think oftentimes when you're asked to give, you think it's mainly for the benefit of the receiver, but oftentimes when you give, the giver benefits a whole lot. Just, I think in the case of aging out of foster care, to contribute to the awareness of that is such a good cause that just knowing that you helped out, you can help the giver as well. And there's lots of ways to get involved beyond giving, and oftentimes it starts with giving. You just, donate a bit of money, then it piques your interest, and you decide to get involved, and it can be part of your life where you actually get involved in other people's lives and get to know them. It's great. Now, as far as the receiver, people that are getting the money, they really need it because this is an invisible issue. And I talk to my friends about it, and they're like, foster care, what? What happened to you? I never thought of that. And I was in that camp before I started. And it's changed my life, so it's become part of my story. And that's had a huge impact. So I think it's good all around for both people who are giving and people who are getting. It's good for everybody.
And so what's your relationship, like how, this is my last question, and because I know I promised till 10, and how has it changed your life?
It's become part of my story. I think the most powerful thing that we have is our stories. Hey, I was here and I saw that. Or I know this person. Or I saw this group of people and we did this. That's really who we are. At our core is our connections with others, and I feel connected to this. And so it's part of me. And the cool thing is you can share it with others. It's contagious. Other people can join in.
That's cool. And you've been an amazing force for this project, and I'm really grateful for everything you've done. There's Jeff. Yeah, you've been an amazing force, and we're really lucky to have you. So lucky.
Well, I'm the lucky one. Hey, Jeff. What's up?
Hi.
Hey.
Talk about group dynamics. Now we have a group dynamics on Google Chat.
Totally.
Cool.
Jeff, is there anything, before we finish up, is there anything that you want to add that I didn't ask?
On the questions?
Oh, sorry, Jeff. Hank.
Yeah.
I'm confused because when somebody talks, is it happening for you? Their picture shows up and there's
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Hank, is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to add?
Let's see. No, but if you think of something you want to ask, just, I'd be happy to jump on and do this again. It's really easy. Just let me know.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and thanks for agreeing to be a part of the SPE conference, because you're now a part of that.
All right. See ya.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, Hank.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Been an interesting few weeks, but I'm okay.
So we're recording, and this is going on to YouTube right now.
Okay.
And I just want to ask, do I have your permission to use this for the SPE conference and anything else related to Salon Garage?
Yes, you do.
Thank you. Okay. So how would you like to do this? So I did send a bunch of questions out, for you guys to think about in advance. Or have you thought about things you just want to start off with, or?
I wrote some answers to the questions so I could stay a little bit focused when we asked them. So we could just go through that if you want.
Sure. Okay. So what attracted you specifically to this project? There's 100 other projects you could be doing.
Yeah, this one. Well, first of all, I wanted to work with you originally, and then the actual project itself, it was really compelling and interesting to me because I did not know anything about aging out of foster care, and I was curious about that and what it would look like, and the project just sounded great. Something to raise awareness for, because I learned more of the issues as we got into the project, but at first it just sounded interesting to learn myself and to help and be a part of raising awareness for it. And I also really, really wanted to work with some people outside of my regular circle, as well as to bring some folks in that would be interested in being a part of the project to all collaborate together. I thought that was really compelling too.
Yeah, and you've got an interesting role in this. So, however I edit this, Jeff is the founder of something called Artist Redemption. So he's got his own artist collective that do projects or sponsor projects or support projects, depending on the dynamic. And so the topic of the SPE conference is community media. And so this is really interesting because you're already a founder of another artist organization that brought your folks in. And it was just like a neat dance because everyone brought so many different talents and ideas and perspectives. Just want to add that, to the audience, because I don't know how I'm going to edit all this together.
Yep, that's fine. It's called Artist Reformation.
Yep.
So we yeah, and we work on projects similar, but there's a different dynamic in this Salon Garage one. It was great because it made me also think about how to engage with different folks who have, you know, different schedules and different life things going on and different temperaments and different ways of working together. And it was really cool to see the group dynamics and how some of the, it was good for us because it also, there was a reason to do this that was beyond just working on something we thought was cool. It was actually engaging to the community around us in a way that if there's a way to get more attention around the project and whatever, would really be helpful to the community in general, because it was all helpful to, it was super helpful to all of us just to know, and it brought about, it built compassion just for the, around the subject of aging out of foster care and around the issues involved with and the complications within the foster care system. It really brought a whole new light and compassion and other things, and that inspired me to really be more interested and keenly aware of projects, and when you're working on them in community, how to really care about the people that are involved, whether they be the people that you're documenting or the folks that you're working with, and that almost takes higher priority for me now than, well, it does, than the project itself. And I learned a ton just from this project in Salon Garage about that and how to relate to people and how to really care for them in the midst of wherever they are in life and help motivate them, and also know when, you know, sometimes.
How has this project impacted you, like in this, like working with Salon Garage and then specifically on this topic? Like, I'm trying to get, like, what was the personal impact on Jeff? Like deep into, I mean, because the foster care, the story, like, what's my real question here? Why does this story matter? Like, because we're going to do a pitch to, you know, we're going to do the Kickstarter and raise money for the exhibition, etc. And like, who cares? Like, you know, why do this? Why do this?
Yeah. People don't know about adoption very much. They think it's something that's overseas and outside. People don't know what happens within our country, because foster care is our adoption system in the United States of America. People don't see it that way. They see it as more or less, well, this person was unfit to take care of their kid, and so they needed to, or at least I did before going into this project. This person was unfit, so the state intervenes and then helps. Well, that's not necessarily the case, and it's not necessarily how things ought to be. It's fine if it works, but it seems like more of the stories that we heard showed more of a problem in that way. So sort of as an American, the lack of compassion that we have for children in general, but especially those who don't have loving parents. And it seems like an epidemic, and it stretches beyond your youth. It's not like once you're an adult, everything's okay. Your youth and situations really help define who you see and perceive yourself to be, and the things and the actions that you do later on in life. And I was not aware of the issues around this as much as I am now. And dealing with Ralph, who was homeless, didn't have a phone. He was 50 years old and was in and out of like 14 foster cares in a boys' home when he was young, and then basically ran away at 16 or 17. Just because he didn't want to continue in the boys' home, and went through tons of difficulties in his life, and you could see this theme. He can't read. He's got multiple kids from different women who are all in foster care, and he doesn't know any of them. There was some good stories too, but in my involvement specifically, my wife and I are really considering in the future adoption through the foster care system. So that was something I learned and radically changed my life. Because before it was, we had discussed adoption, but we just always thought probably overseas. But then it was, no, this is real and right in our backyard, and we have no idea. We just didn't know. It's strange how we can put so many blinders on. So to what's happening right here in your own city and in your own county and state and country. So radical life changes are from this are just that piece, that awareness of what it could look like to really love people better and take care of people better and really be humanitarian, I guess you could say. Because I just had no idea the depths of suffering and trauma that can happen in young kids that can just lead to a continued life. And I'm not trying to say that it's like horrible to be homeless or something. I'm just trying to say that, I mean, Ralph had particular sufferings that I will never experience and know about, and difficulties in life that gave me compassion for him on a different level and made me see, man, this kid, when he was young, as a child, really could have used some love and care and sweetness around him. And I have 3 little girls, and I know that if we adopted somebody else, we would love them as our own, and they would be part of the family.
I know you would.
Yeah, and that, I think that dynamic alone would really help some people.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody just considered that, even, and knew the issues surrounding it, considered that, it would change the dynamic of probably poverty, probably drug and alcohol addiction, psychological stuff, just by looking outside of yourself and being aware. There's a huge epidemic of problems.
Mm-hmm. What would you say? So the audience is going to be full of photographers, and people who come see me talk are probably going to be people interested in documentary photography. I don't do architectural photography, people who I'm assuming are going to be aligned with kind of the vision for Salaam Garage, that type of documentary work. And I have found that there's such an interest in people wanting to do projects all around the world and travel the world and take pictures and, raise awareness of international situations. And I have found, because I've taught photography and I've had this career, that there's not as much interest in people like crossing the street and doing a project about their neighbor. So what would you say, because it sounds really boring, it's like, oh, the homeless kids in Seattle, but you got to know them. And so what would you say to this audience who, especially younger photographers who are really amped to go travel the world and take pictures and work with NGOs, like the kind of stuff I used to do? What would you say to them about a local community, so-called boring project like ours?
Yeah, it's not boring. You get to meet real people that are there with you in life in the same city and actually have a very similar cultural context, but filter it in such a different way that you'll be surprised and blown away. I think things sort of like that, all sort of the idea of other and out there, even if you're not, I think there's a similarity between some of the problems that evangelical Christianity and Orthodox missionary type stuff have caused, where where there's tons of indoctrination and Americanization of things. Even if you're not touching and you're just documenting, it's still bizarre that you're showing up with a camera to take these pictures of folks. Whereas here, it's not. And we have the exact same problems and the exact same things that fuel. We have poverty, illiteracy, just anything that somebody would think is a problem here. Where there's stuff that's just worldwide epidemics. Sure, it's different in a different place and it looks different, and culturally things are much different, and sometimes the problems are or the difficulties or whatever are amplified by governments and all sorts of other things that totally make your worldview and different stuff different. But in the end, we all have poverty, whatever the measure of that is. It looks different in different countries. We all have people without homes, people who are starving, people who are not loved, people who are abused, AIDS, drug addiction, whatever it might be, violence against people for various reasons, social group. And yes, there's different extremes in different places, and it is great to have a global awareness of what's going on. But like I said, I had no idea about the issues surrounding, and they're not just physical end outcome issues like homelessness, drug addiction. There's themes of prostitution because people exploit young kids who suddenly find themselves homeless. It was eye-opening, and then seeing people who are entrenched in these problems as people, and loving them, and knowing that at my house, him and his wife have been over at my house and ate meals, and we've let them wash our clothes here, all sorts of stuff, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'll stop broadcasting now.